So we warned everybody for the longest time that we were approaching fascism. Now we've basically done a triple jump over the line. As Trump continues to commit impeachable acts, disobeying federal court rulings, and sending the military to police cities. Cities that he claimed didn't vote for him so they don't matter anyway. So much for being the leader of everybody. But just like federal courts said his occupation of Los Angeles and DC were both unconstitutional and flat out illegal, he is now sending the military over to Portland, Oregon, and telling them to use full force, because one of the steps in the authoritarian playbook is to normalize the usage of troops on the street. This is in order to scare people, to make people comply, but mostly to make it seem like the troops in the street are an everyday thing. And every single official in Oregon is saying, why the hell are you sending them here? There's nothing wrong. The mayor of Portland even said the president will not find lawlessness here unless he intends to perpetrate it. Bingo. Because much like we saw in DC and LA, the only lawlessness and violence that was happening was from ICE agents. But once again, Trump is claiming that he has to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland. And much like with DC, the high-up officials and the governor here are saying, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing going on, it's fine. But that's what he has to do. Trump has to deploy a whole bunch of troops to quote-unquote blue cities that he says are ravaged with crime, have them sit there and do nothing for 2 weeks but intimidate the people, and then say, oh look, I made the place safe and perfect, even though nothing was fucking happening. But he says he needs to handle domestic terrorists. In other words, anybody who disagrees with him. This is the definition of fucking fascism. Sending the military and troops to peaceful cities in order to threaten people and intimidate people. This is where we are now. Having authoritarian at the helm who only cares about enriching himself and making himself and his cronies more money, while he slowly takes away everyone's rights and intimidates the populace into submission. This would normally be an excellent time to say we told you so. But it doesn't give me any pleasure anymore because the rest of us are suffering along with these idiots who think this is a good thing. And once again, it all comes down to education in this country, because the people who support and endorse Trump's actions are blatantly uneducated people who failed history but got an A+ in racism.